And the second one receives a signal from our base, which is on the tower. The computer will link the two signals.
Goggio's system is 30 times more accurate than before. This is the first time the GPS system has been used in underwater archaeology, and it allows Goggio and his team to establish the longitude and latitude of each location, accurate to within 1.5 meters. The results of the GPS survey are astounding. Frank Goggio is able to draw an accurate map of a vanished metropolis.
In 1997 and 8, after archaeological excavation, we were able to precisely define the contour and location of the ruined city.
Goggio's team uses red buoys to make an outline of the sunken discoveries. Following Strabo's clues, Goggio is now finally able to bring a lost world into view. His map offers entry into the Queen's domain. A palace where Cleopatra seduced Julius Caesar, mighty commander of the Roman legions. The waterfront where her companion, Mark Antony, built a private sanctuary just months before he took his own life. Finally, Antirodos, Cleopatra's royal islands.
I never thought one day I will be able to map the whole of the royal province. Now we know we are just at the beginning of a great scientific adventure.
For the first time in nearly 2,000 years, Queen Cleopatra's royal palaces may receive new visitors. Having mapped the ancient port of Alexandria, Goggio narrows his search to the sunken island of Antirodos.
Mohammed and Mustafa, you could go and clean the hieroglyph.
It was here, in 26 BC, that the geographer Strabo saw Cleopatra's luxurious summer home 4 years after her death. But he provides no clue to where the palace stood. Now it's up to Goggio and his divers to find it.
An archaeological excavation, it's like a big puzzle. Very tiny information fill gaps.
The site itself is enormous, 27 hectares, in water so murky that visibility is often limited to arm's length. When artifacts are found, they must be placed along a scale of time, on which Cleopatra's life is but a brief moment. In this treasure house of history, artisans left precious clues. 8 blocks inscribed with Egyptian hieroglyphs, a wealth of information for the modern scholars who can read them. Strips of flexible silicone are sent down to make copies of the text. Is a dedication to gods whose cult ended 1,000 years before Cleopatra's birth. inscriptions are in Greek. The tablet honors an emperor who ruled 2 centuries after Cleopatra's death. On the eastern tip of the submerged island, divers discover 2 long rows of wooden stakes. They are the foundation of an ancient jetty and a valuable clue. The age of the wood can be determined.
It dates back from the 4th century BC and 5th century BC. And this is very interesting.
The jetty was here long before Cleopatra. It's an encouraging find. If it survived all those years, there's a chance Cleopatra's world also did. By the time Cleopatra assumed the throne, Antirodos was a thriving royal port, prime real estate for the palace of an ambitious beauty and her famous lovers. Elated by the discovery of the ancient docks, Goggio looks for traces of buildings from Cleopatra's reign. Across the harbor, divers have uncovered dozens of distinctly Greek columns. Cleopatra's ancestors came from Greece, and they imported their style to Egypt. Sharp edges resemble columns found in Athens, but carved in native Egyptian granite. Stones that were placed at the top of the columns are decorated with traditional Egyptian symbols. The pillars may have formed elegant colonnades, sheltering the queen and her entourage as they boarded their royal vessels. Above Cleopatra's sunken island, Goggio is following a trail described only by the ancient geographer Strabo in 27 BC. Goggio knows there was a palace on Antirodos Island. From here, the royal family could have looked out across the bustling harbor toward the great lighthouse. Divers have chipped away at encrusted ruins at the southwest corner of the sunken island. Now, their labor pays off. The divers discover a series of giant columns cut from red Egyptian granite.
On the southwest tip of Antirodos Island, we found an accumulation of red granite columns fallen into the port. We counted 60 pieces. They are huge, over 4 feet in diameter.
The ruptured columns cover 60 meters of the bay floor. Shattered pottery beneath them suggests they fell during an earthquake centuries after Cleopatra's death. Paintings from the ancient world indicate that the columns might have acted as a ceremonial gateway to the island. The columns announce the majesty of their owner. Some were more than 7 meters tall, a magnificent entrance fit for a queen. Approaching sailors would have marveled at this grand entrance to the royal island. The gateway leads Goggio to suspect that the palace is near the center of the island. But in his attempts to find it, Goggio sometimes finds the unexpected.
One day, I was diving alone on Antirodos Island, cleaning a granite block. I was hoping for a hint to indicate I was on the right track to discover the remains of Cleopatra's palace.
The hieroglyphs on the block of stone reveal a coiled snake, reminding the explorer of the legendary serpent that ended the life of a 39-year-old queen.
Even though it was not from the period of Cleopatra, I took it as a good omen for myself.
The inscription reads, "Eternal life." Dozens of other blocks are soon found. The next discovery convinces the team that they are on the right path. Vast expanses of limestone pavement fit for a queen, 550 square meters all over the island, forming a series of grand esplanades. Still more toppled columns are found, columns that seem to form an ancient colonnade leading presumably to the palace. Gaudio suspects he is close to the palace, so he instructs his divers to dig a deep trench near the pavement.
It's interesting because there are more than a meter 20 under the...
Using a powerful dredge, the team probes the jumbled strata of the harbor floor, layers that stretch backward in time from modern Egypt to imperial Rome. It takes the team 3 weeks to reach the layer they're most interested in. The divers bring up a few surviving traces.